Israel's recalled its ambassadors to Ireland, Norway, and Spain. This after the three nations announced they'd recognize a Palestinian state. The largely symbolic move nonetheless comes as a further blow to Israel in the same week as the International Criminal Court's top prosecutor requested arrest warrants for Benjamin Netanyahu and his defense minister.
The government has decided that Norway will recognize the state of Palestine. Norway's recognition will come into force on the 28th of May. Norway will therefore regard Palestine as an independent state with all the rights and duties that this entails. A Palestinian state is obliged, in line with international law, to live in peace within secure, internationally recognized borders and to comply with all relevant UN resolutions.
For more, let's cross to Oslo and Norway's foreign minister, Espen Barth Eide. Thank you so much for speaking with us here on France 24.
Thank you very much for having me.
Now, Norway traditionally is that country that plays the mediator role. It was the case with the Oslo Accords, same with Spain. This time, though, you're taking a stand. Why?
So we're taking a stand for peace, for a two-state solution, and we believe this is the right thing to do. But even more importantly, we believe it's the right moment to do it, because we need to lift up again this belief in that there is.
We seem to have lost the connection there. We seem to have lost the connection with Oslo. We'll try to reconnect with Norway's foreign minister in a moment. The announcement coming amid tensions shortly after Ireland, Norway, and Spain announced the recognition of a Palestinian state. Israel's far-right security minister, Itamar Ben-Gvir, touring the Al-Aqsa Mosque compound. What's seen as a provocation. Muslims consider it as one of Islam's holiest sites. Jews claim it as Temple Mount. Meanwhile, fellow far-right cabinet member, Finance Minister Bezalel Smotrich, freezing the transfer of tax revenues for the Palestinian Authority. I believe we've reconnected now with Oslo. Apologies to Espen Barth Eide, Norway's foreign minister, with us here on France 24. You were saying it's the right time, but does it move peace forward? Does it not, just as we saw with the actions this Wednesday by those far-right cabinet members, does it not just make Israel double down?
I hope that in the long run, this will prove to be a good move at the right moment. And I have to underline that if it was a standalone decision, I think it would be merely symbolic. But it is not, because there is now an emerging thinking among Arab and European ministers about a comprehensive peace plan for the Middle East, where there is a trade-off between a normalization between Israel and Arab states, establishment of a Palestinian state, strengthening the Palestinian Authority, security guarantees for Israel, and the mobilization of Hamas. And in that context, our recognition of Palestine is meaningful. This is the view of many of those who support this idea that we need a regional comprehensive plan. And there will be meetings this weekend on Sunday and Monday in Brussels between key European and key Arab ministers and the PLO and the Palestine Authority, precisely to draw this forward. For too many years, we've been waiting for the parties to sit down calmly and negotiate. That did not happen, and we're further away than we have been for many, many years. So we need to give a new impetus to this process, and that's the background for Spain, Ireland, and Norway's joint decision to recognize on the 28th of May.
Let me ask you about the timing here, because this, as you say, had been planned for a while. This joint announcement by those three important nations. It comes, though, now the same week, says the chief prosecutor at the ICC, issued his arrest warrant requests for Benjamin Netanyahu and his defense minister. The negotiations that you described, does that make them impossible with this government if there are perhaps pending charges from the ICC?
I just want to underline that these are, completely independent developments. Yes, they happen at the same time, but it is an independent court that basically all Western-style democracies support, and many other countries. And a key element of governance is that governments respect the independence of court. That includes the International Criminal Court, which is an independent body. So we as governments do obviously not coordinate with them, nor can we abstain from making our decisions because there are legal proceedings in the different field.
Are negotiations possible with this Israeli government?
Well, this Israeli government has said itself that it's not interested in negotiations towards a two-state solution, and its actions, particularly the rapid growth of illegal settlements in the West Bank, has not made it any easier. And the composition of this government includes ministers who are explicitly against any Palestinian state. At the same time, we've seen that the rest of the world has come along more clearly than I would say ever before in saying that there is no alternative to a two-state solution. And we're in it for the long haul. States continue to exist, governments come and go, and there might be new opportunities later. But in principle, of course, I expect that both the Palestine Authority and Israel will be able to negotiate a settlement. The sooner the better. But this is also a reaction to a non-development, non-progress on that front. We've seen too many spirals of violence, and if we don't move out of this fixed idea that one day the parties will negotiate completely on their own without any foreign pressure or impulse, I think it will not happen.
Very briefly, can the U.S. still be a negotiator, a mediator?
The U.S. is critically important. It's Israel's closest ally, and we work very closely with them on many of the practical sides of this. But then we also need to recognize that the U.S. is in the middle of an election. This is a deeply divisive issue internally in the U.S. I simply have to say to my American friends, I don't think it's easy to be U.S. these days. And I think that the rest of us cannot just rest waiting for the U.S. to be ready, which is why a group of Arab foreign ministers and a group of foreign ministers have agreed to meet and to work together and to try to develop a comprehensive plan. That's at least an attempt to show the world that there is an alternative to violence for the day after, an alternative that will create peace for the Palestinian and the Israeli people alike.
Norway's Foreign Minister Barth, Eide, many thanks for speaking with us here on France 24.
Thank you for your interest.